Alright, hey guys. This week I wanted to, so I asked, like I usually do, what you guys want to hear about this week. And because I tweeted that after a session with a good Dom, I'm feeling happy and fulfilled and it's amazing. And so somebody wanted me to kind of talk a little bit more about that, like what makes a good Dom. And I feel like this is a very, it's not a simple answer. It's not like a sentence answer. There's so much that goes into being a good Dom that I had to write kind of what I wanted to talk about. It's kind of lengthy, so if I am looking down and it looks like I'm reading, I probably am because I really wanted to answer this thoroughly and properly and really discuss it. And as a disclaimer, um, every submissive has their own idea of what a good dom is, and there's no right answer or wrong answer. All I know is, in my experience, what I like, what's important to me, and so that's all I'm covering here is me personally, my experience, and what I like in a dom. So I mean, you will find 10 different submissives will give you 10 different answers on what they consider to be a good dom. I mean, I feel like some of the ideas are universal, but just as a disclaimer, just so I don't get like hate mail or whatever, this is just my personal opinion. So first and foremost, a dom respects me as a person. Sorry, I'm trying to hold this so it's not all crazy. Respects me as a person, values me as a person. He knows I have limits, I have boundaries, I can only take myself so far. And of course, it's okay to stretch limits as long as that's discussed ahead of time. Like, I'm the type of dom that likes to stretch limits. And having, of course, a safe word, all the safety measures in place. But personally, I don't have a lot of limits because I'm open to doing a lot of things. I like different experiences. Now, just because I don't have any limits doesn't mean I can go all big all the time. Like, I like sprinkles of things, I suppose. But I feel like it says a lot about a dom when he asks for limits and boundaries before a scene. I feel like when that conversation takes place, I know that I'm going to be with someone who takes my feelings and my needs and my safety and my happiness into account. And that's huge. And I also think that it says a lot about a dom when he leads this conversation with specifics, like instead of just what are your limits, which is a fine question, but honestly most of the time I don't really know how to answer that. So I just say, I'm open, don't really have a lot of limits, just like the bare minimum kind of thing, like things I absolutely will never ever do. But I like when he leads the conversation with, what names are okay to call you versus trigger words. What toys are you comfortable using for different kinds of things? Like, I'm comfortable putting this in my mouth, but am I comfortable deep throating it? Probably not. And I like when doms distinguish that difference. Like, oh, because like nothing like really bums me out more than me feeling comfortable using this huge toy and then dom's like, okay, now put it all the way down your throat. It's like, well, I can't do that, and I don't really like feeling like I'm putting a downer on the scene by being like, that's not happening. I physically cannot do that, because I don't expect the dom to know what I'm physically capable of. But what would be better, I don't think it's a scene killer when I'm using a toy and he says, would you be comfortable deep throating that? And then I can answer yes or no. I don't think that's a scene killer. In fact, I think that drives the scene forward in a way that I'm comfortable, and, you know, he knows what that is, what that is able to do. So, that's not a very good sentence, but you know what I mean. I don't think that that's a scene killer. I think that that's a good thing. A scene killer to me is being unprepared. And that goes for both of us. There is nothing hotter to me than when a dom is like, okay, we're prepping for this scene. I want you to have nipple clamps ready, a dildo you can deep throat, a dildo that you use to orgasm, and a paddle for your butt, or a paddle for your breasts, or whatever. Like, have those things ready. That way I can lay all of that stuff out. It's ready, it's there. We can keep the scene moving without me having to spend time rummaging through my toy box. Because if I'm taking all that time digging and I'm stressing out, what if I can't find it? Oh no, this is awful, everything's going wrong. It's so much better for me to be prepared. And not only am I prepared toy-wise, but I'm prepared mentally. If I know what kind of scene I can expect just by the toys that I'm putting out and getting ready for, I can kind of know what kind of scene is coming up, and that's kind of exciting, and that's like, there's anticipation. We don't have to use all of those toys, but I definitely like the idea of having them ready to go, and it tells me that my dom is prepared. My dom knows what he wants to do with me, and there's not going to be any dead air or anything like that. During the scene, what's huge for me is punishment versus reward. I really, really hate when, well, not hate, I'm not going to say hate, that's not the right word that I'm looking for. It makes or breaks a scene for me if there's not the right payoff for punishment versus reward. Not every task earns an orgasm, but every task earns something, some kind of reward, whether it be just kind of verbal or, you know, whatever. Specifically, feel like the punishment and the reward should kind of go hand in hand. Like, boop, boop, boop. A light spanking, if I follow the rules, I'm counting, I'm saying thank you, whatever the dom wants of me during that spanking, I feel like I should be rewarded by something simple like verbal praise. Good girl, nice job, that kind of thing, good color, something like that, where I feel like, okay, I did well, good for me, so I'm happy. Something a little bit heavier, like nipple torture, should be rewarded by a few moments of, you know, rubbing my nipples, bringing the, like, feeling back in them, or, like, cropping my genitals. Should be rewarded by some edging, maybe. Those are just some examples. I'm not saying that that's how it has to be, but, you know, punishment, reward. Punishment, reward. I like to be rewarded in the moment. That like really drives me forward. I live for that praise, that reward, and that's ultimately what I want. So if I complete a task and I do it well and do it right, I should be rewarded for that. Now, if you like your punishment in succession, that's fine too, but verbal praise along the way kind of drives that. So if you want nipple torture and then you want, you know, pulling on clamps on my labia, like, all in a row, that's fine. And just as long as all of those little things build up to a higher reward. Now, if I do something wrong, like I lose count, or I don't say thank you, or, you know, I'm not following the rules, or if it's not hard enough, I want to be told that I wasn't doing it right, what I need to do right next time, and then rewarded at the end. I know that sounds kind of like redundant, but I guess rewarding in the moment for me is the easiest way to balance that pain and pleasure. Because to me, even a simple verbal reward is that's pleasurable to me. I like to be told that I'm doing a great job. And so that's really the easiest way for me to balance that pain and pleasure. And then aftercare. I talked about this in my other video. I'm going to try and figure out how to do a card. So if you haven't watched that video, you can click and it will magically appear. That would be sweet. We'll see if that pans out. But just here's the summary. End the scene. Say thank you. Tell me I did a great job. If I didn't earn an orgasm, that's fine. Just say thank you and good job and I'll see you next time or whatever. It's that, like, ending the scene any kind of way other than just bailing goes a long way. It's so important to me, and I know to other submissives. So, I mean, that's kind of it. That's the formula, in my opinion, on how to be a good dom. And, you know, you don't have to do all of those things. We could still have a good scene if some of those things are missing, you know, if it's not your style or whatever. That's fine too. I'm not saying that we'll have an awful time and I'll be miserable and I'll never want to play with you again. I'm just saying, like, my perfect scene follows this criteria. I've had great scenes with other doms that don't praise in the moment, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be that way. I just kind of like it because it reassures me along the way and keeps my mental state in a good place. So, if you guys have any questions, I'd really like to hear your thoughts on this, just because there's so much room for interpretation of what makes a good dom. I would love everyone's opinion and what, you know, if you do these things or you don't do these things, I'd love to know why or what or all of those things. And here comes Boss Man. So, okay, I have to go, but I hope you guys liked this video, and I hope it kind of cleared any questions up. And I don't know what I just did to make it all bright. All right, well, I hope I'm posting this video today. See you guys later. Why, hello there, 2 a.m. You're looking awfully nice today. Here we go. I love you. I love you so much. Those dance